Hello, today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the MEGAMINX. The MEGAMINX is similar to a 3x3 as they both have 3 pieces along each edge, 2 corners and an edge. Although a MEGAMINX, instead of having 4 edges, it has 5. This means that instead of having 6 sides, it has 12. Many of the steps to solve a MEGAMINX are very similar to how you would solve a 3x3, so if you already know how to solve a 3x3, it should be very easy to learn, and if you don't, I would recommend learning that first. The first step to solving the MEGAMINX is to solve the white star. This is very similar to solving the cross on a 3x3, except instead of 4 edge pieces to insert, there are 5. If you already know how to solve cross on a 3x3, it will be very similar to on a MEGAMINX. The pieces can be inserted the same way as they would be with a cross on 3x3. For example, this red and white piece here can go into here like this. That is the same as how it would be on a 3x3. The only difference is where the pieces can be. On a 3x3, the white cross pieces can only be in one of these few layers. They're a lot easier to find on the cube, whereas on a MEGAMINX, there's a lot more sides and a lot more edges to look for the edge. For example, here, the white and red edge piece isn't anywhere around here. You'll see that it's right at the back of the cube. What you can do about this is simply, without interrupting the white star, bring it down into a position which you can solve it like you would if it were a 3x3. The next step is to solve the first 2 layers. Again, this is very similar to on a 3x3, except there is the one extra slot which needs to be filled. Again, most pairs can be inserted the same way that they would on a 3x3. For example, the yellow, purple and white pair can be inserted the same way it would on a 3x3. But again, as the cube is bigger, sometimes the pieces will be further away from their desired slot. For example, here I have white, red and blue, which are over here, but they need to be in this slot over here. The way that I can do this is either pair them up over here and then bring them over to where they're supposed to be and insert them, or I can leave them where they are, bring them over without them being solved, then solve them into the correct slot. This can be done for all of the pairs, and if you can solve F2L on a 3x3, you should easily be able to do it on a MEGAMINX. Once you've solved F2L, your cube should look like this. The next thing that you want to do is solve the star on the blue face. Again, this is similar to on the white face, however, you have to be more careful of preserving the F2L. For example, with this piece here, if I would insert it how I would usually insert it, like this, I've now disrupted this pair. So instead, the way that you should do it is to take it out of the slot and then insert it in. Then you've preserved the F2L. So you want to do this for both of the edges whilst preserving the first 2 layers of the white star. This shouldn't take very long. Once you've done this, all you want to do is insert the 3 pairs here of edge and corners as you would for F2L, except for the blue. Once again, making sure that you preserve the first 2 layers of the white side. Once you've solved both the blue and the white side's first 2 layers, your cube should look like this. The next thing that you want to do is do what you did with blue, but for the red and the yellow sides. I will start with red, but it doesn't matter which one you start with first. There's one edge piece here which has to go in. Then you insert the 2 pairs. You've got to make sure that you preserve the white and the blue first 2 layers as you're solving both the edges and the pairs. So now I have solved red, blue and white first 2 layers. Now I will solve yellow. You can do yellow first if you want. So you just want to insert the edges and corners without disrupting the parts of the cube which you've already solved. Once you've done that, you should have these 4 sides solved, and all of the layers around them should also be solved. You've now just got blue and grey to solve. So the next thing that you're going to do is solve these 3 pieces here, this corner, this edge, and this edge. The way that you'll do this is by inserting one of the edge pieces in. For example, I see the blue and green piece here, so I will insert that, like this, into the correct slot. Then what you're going to do is find the corner piece here and the edge piece here, which is here and here. Then you want to pair them up. Then what you want to do is move this out the way, put this corner here, and then insert it how you would if it was an F2L pair. And then you just want to do another F move, and it should be solved. The next thing you're going to do is solve these two pairs here. For example, this one, this corner, and this edge pair up. So I'll pair them and put them in the correct slot. You just want to do that for this side, and then we will be on last layer. Once you've done that, the next thing that you're going to do is solve the final layer of the cube. This is done by orienting the edges, then the corners, then permutating the edges, and then permutating the corners. So there are many ways to orientate the edges on the cube. The way that I do it, you only have to learn one algorithm, which you should already know from the 3x3. The algorithm on the 3x3 is to solve this OLL case. It's F, sexy move, F prime. So I'll go through the different cases and how to solve them using that algorithm now. If you have three edges that are adjacent to each other, you want to hold the unsolved edge that's on the left in front of you and do that algorithm, F, sexy move, F prime. Then it will put you into this case. If you get this case with two adjacent and one opposite them, you want to hold the unsolved edge that is on the left in front of you and do the algorithm, F, sexy move, F prime. If you get only one edge solved, you want to hold any of the edges in front you want to hold any of the unsolved edges in front of you and do the algorithm, F, sexy move, F prime. This should put you in one of the other two cases. For example, this case. Next is to solve the corners. The way that you can solve the corners is similar to how you would learn as a beginner to solve them on a 3x3. There are other algorithms which you can learn, but I'm not going to teach here as they'll take too long to show. So the way that you want to do it is hold the furthest unsolved edge on the left. So if you hold the solved edges on top, if they're not, then it doesn't matter which edge you start with. The furthest one on the left, you want to hold in the top right corner. Then you want to do this algorithm, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, until the corner which is on top is orientated facing the right way. Then you just want to do a U move and repeat the algorithm. And then do the same thing again for all of the edges, for all of the corners. And then eventually you'll find that all of the corners will be orientated the right way. The next step is to permutate the edges. There are three different cases which you can get. There is this one, where you have two edges in the right place, adjacent to each other, which you solve by doing a J-perm with the unsolved edges on the right in front of you and behind you, and doing a J-perm. Then from here, you will get one of the other cases. So when you have two opposite each other solved, you will have a pair of two adjacent to each other unsolved and one on its own that is unsolved. You want to hold the one which is unsolved on its own to the right of you and do a T-perm. You want to do this until all of the edges have been solved. Another way to solve the case with two edges permutated and the rest of them not permutated when the edges are adjacent to each other is to hold the permutated edge on the left in front of you and perform Y-perms until all of the edge pieces are in the correct places. Then all you have to do is permutate the corners and the cube will be solved. The way that you'll do this is pick a corner which is not in the right location. As you can see here, none of mine are in the right location, and put it in the bottom right. Then what you want to do is take it out of the slot with R, U, R prime. Then what you want to do is look at which corner this is and which is the correct slot which it is supposed to go in. So as you can see here, it is lime green, pink and grey. So it goes in this slot here. So all you want to do, move the delay until that's in the bottom right position, and then using the reverse of the algorithm you used a minute ago, R, U prime, R prime, you'll put it in the right position. Then you'll do this for the other edges. So here you can see this edge goes in this slot, so I'll just move this over here. Then I'll put that in. Then I can see this is grey, blue, and grey, light blue, and cream. So it goes in this slot. So I'll move that to the bottom right and insert it. And then you just want to do this for all of the pieces. And then once you get to the last one, your MEGAMINX should be solved. If this video is helpful in any way, please do consider liking the video and subscribing. Thank you for watching, goodbye.